Today, we're going to give you one tip to get the most value out of every gun in Valorant. Starting off with the default weapon, the Classic. It costs 0 credits and features a 12-round mag that can finish an enemy with full shields with 2 headshots at close range. What really makes the Classic shine is its right-click alternate fire, which shoots out 3 bullets at once like a mini shotgun. Really mastering the Classic is all about perfecting the right click. The best tip we have to use it whenever you're at an extreme close range, either on pistol round or if you know an enemy is low on HP, a jumping right click at close range against an enemy on low health gives you a better shot at winning the fight than spraying around the corner with the Vandal. This thing might be free, but you should never underestimate it. Next up, we have the preferred secondary for jet oppers everywhere, the Shorty. The Shorty is a close range shotgun that excels in tight areas, particularly inside of smokes. So our best tip is to hop on into any smokes around you and pull out a Shorty whenever possible. There's a reason you see jets and ciphers often have one on them. Their short-term smokes are the perfect way to close the distance between enemies or lure them into a tight space to knock them out with a blast from this tiny terror. Oh, and by the way, this thing is an absolute monster when you're inside of a Viper ultimate. There's nothing more scary than a bee-hopping Shorty abuser coming at you with full green cover and ill intentions. The Frenzy is the only fully automatic pistol in the game, and while it's a far cry from the overpowered Frenzy and light armor of days of old, it's still a weapon that can really find great value when used correctly. Our advice for the Frenzy is to give it the run and gun treatment. At close range on those pistol rounds, it'll be hard to track you, so having that run and gun potential while your opponents can't spray you back will do wonders. Oh, and by the way, this is also the only pistol that fires faster because of Brimstone's stimmy, so yeah, do with that what you will. The Ghost provides a good middle ground between the Classic and the Sheriff. It deals 105 damage on a close to medium range headshot, so it should take out any enemies who haven't bought light shields. The biggest mistake we see when players are using the Ghost is shooting way too fast without taking the time to allow the spray to reset. If you don't take a half second between shots to allow your bullets to reset, you'll find an otherwise straightforward kill go very badly. So take your time and hit those headshots, you won't regret it. Let's move on to the last pistol and the staple of eco rounds, the Sheriff. It costs 800 credits and would use up your entire budget on a pistol round, but for good reason. On a pistol round, a headshot is a guaranteed kill and in the right hands can single-handedly secure a round. Not just that, against full shields at short to medium range, it's also just a matter of hitting that one crucial shot. Since a mag on a Sheriff only has 6 bullets, it's prudent to take your time and line up a perfect shot rather than spamming left click. So our recommendation is to strafe between bullets whenever possible. Moving between every shot will make you a much harder target to hit, and it will give you more time to hit that all-important headshot. It's good to practice for almost any weapon, but even more so with this pocket cannon. And that reminds me, though El Diablo might be better known for his headhunter, he's still one of, if not the best in the game at the moment. So if you want to take some of his advice and rank up, we highly encourage you to check out his brand new guide over on ProGuides.com. You can get access through our $8 a month ProGuide subscription, and you'll not only receive that, but also many other courses like ones from Tens and Scream. There's even more benefits, so if you're interested, check it out over on our website. Next, we're moving on to shotguns, and the first one on our list is the Bucky. This weapon has pretty much fallen out of the meta after a series of nerfs, but that doesn't mean it can't be a brutal tool in the right hands. Our tip for using the Bucky is to remember that it's not totally helpless at short to medium range. Using the right click option followed by the left click when you're at 8 to 12 meters means that you'll very quickly be able to finish off opponents even at a slight distance. Combine this with the reload between every shot to never run out of ammo, and you've got a good chance with an underrated budget weapon. That being said, however, we don't blame you if you opt for the Bucky's cooler, stronger, prettier, and more dragon-like brother instead though. When used correctly, the Judge can win rounds just as well as an operator. However, it can be difficult to use properly, so the tip we have is to prioritize your positioning. Since a Judge is only really effective at close range, you need to be doing everything you can to get as close to the action as possible. An important thing to remember, however, is that almost every Valorant player has been terrorized by the Judge before, and none of them liked it. People hate running into Judges, and of course they should. Therefore, you need to be a little bit sneaky. Try to play with a teammate, especially on the ecos. They're on A side jiggling with a Sheriff, and you're ready around the corner waiting to taunt the opponents. Next up, we've got the Stinger. The Stinger has been in and out of the meta in waves, and it seems to be in a pretty balanced spot right now. At close to medium ranges, it can tear through opponents and provide some unexpected frag potential on eco rounds. The biggest drawback the Stinger faces is its small magazine of 20 bullets, which can run out in just 1.2 seconds of spraying. So the key piece of advice we're going to give you is to not waste your shots when you don't need to. The last thing you want to do is face an enemy with a half-full mag that can disappear in under a second. And with the Stinger's unreliable accuracy, chances are some of the shots won't land, so keep your gun topped up. The Specter is the default anti-eco weapon of choice for most players. It's a forgiving weapon that is perfect for mowing down players with their inferior weapons. It's so forgiving, in fact, that many low-ranked players often buy a Specter instead of a rifle on their buy rounds to give themselves a better chance of hitting their shots. While we don't recommend doing that, there is actually a way to have your Specter win out over enemy rifles if you need it to. At short to medium range, the Specter's run and gunning ability is unmatched. Your bullets will be surprisingly accurate, and anything other than perfect tracking from your opponent will mean that they're taken out before they're able to recover. So when you've got the Specter in a close-ish area, make sure to be holding down A or D to really give yourself the best shot against a better buy and win those bonus rounds. The Ares doesn't see much action in normal gameplay. Aside from the infamous update that saw it got overtuned and overpowered for a brief period, players usually prefer a Specter or a Judge over an Ares in the same price range. That being said, in the right hands, it's a better long-range option than both of those aforementioned weapons. If you want to be using the Ares correctly, then you want to be holding down and spraying whenever possible. Yes, you heard that right. The Ares is the only gun that gets more accurate the longer you spray it. So holding down your spray either on a corner to pre-fire peeking enemies or just into a crowd of them is the best way to get the most out of this mini LMG. Then we've got the Ares' big brother, the Odin. It's the second most expensive weapon in the game, coming in at 3,200 credits, but for good reason. It's a high penetration weapon with over 100 bullets in the mag, meaning that you can wallbang the whole enemy team and still have ammo left over to shoot their bodies afterwards too. Our advice for using the Odin effectively is to always ADS when fighting with it. The Odin's ADS is not only more accurate, but it also increases your fire rate, giving you a better chance in a gunfight. When pre-firing corners and holding down mouse 1, you can stop an entire rush in its tracks just as effective as any piece of utility. The first of the 4 rifles on this list is the Bulldog. At just 2,050 credits, it's the cheapest rifle in the game and is often viable after a good pistol round win. It has great anti-eco potential and can often hold its own in full buy rounds as well. Our tip for using the Bulldog effectively is to use it in conjunction with the stim whenever possible. A Bulldog with a stim beacon can be just as good as a Phantom on any other round for a much cheaper price. For that reason, it's a great weapon of choice for Reyna mains who want to use their ultimate on an upcoming round but can't quite force the gun that they want. With just a headshot and body shot required to finish off full shields at all but an extreme long range, it's definitely one of the more underrated weapons on this list. And if you aren't buying it already, you should really give it some thought. The next rifle on this list is the Guardian. It's a semi-auto rifle that costs just 2,250 credits and can one-shot headshot at any range. Naturally, being a semi-automatic gun means there's a high skill ceiling when using the Guardian, but with some good aim, it can really do some damage. The best tip for using the Guardian well is to use it at long range wherever possible. The advantage gained by spraying is minimized in long-range fights, so swinging a far angle with the Guardian will put you on a level pedestal with any other gun on this list except for sniper rifles. And this becomes especially true when you consider its insane accuracy scoped in. If you ever find yourself with the Guardian in your hands, don't be afraid to peek the far angles. You'll have a much better chance at range than you would up close. Now we move on to the first of the 2 most popular weapons in Valorant. The Phantom is known for its consistency and great spray transfer potential. It's arguably the best all-around weapon in the game and is really effective at any distance. Our advice for using the Phantom is to try and spray through smokes wherever possible. Your tracers aren't visible through the smoke, so players will have a harder time shooting back. You're bound to get some chip damage, if not even better, and you secure a kill or 2. Next up, we have the Vandal. It doesn't suffer the damage drop-off that the Phantom does in exchange for a smaller mag, visible bullet tracers, lower overall accuracy, and a less forgiving spray. Our tip for using the Vandal is to limit your shots to 1 or 2 bullets at a time. If you end up missing these first 2 shots, you'll have a better chance at landing the next few after resetting your spray before shooting again. You can take the opportunity between shots to go behind cover or strafe left and right before going again. It's a commonly held saying among top players that if you miss the first 2 bullets with the Vandal, it's already too late to spray. So it's best to take your time and really make sure you prioritize that first shot. And if you're finding it tough, it may be time to give the Phantom a try instead. The last category on our list are the snipers, and the first one is the Marshal. It's a brilliant economy weapon able to deal 101 damage to the body or finish off an enemy with a headshot at any range. One great tip for using the Marshal, well, is to not be afraid to no-scope when at close or medium range. Unlike the Operator, the Marshal is surprisingly accurate when you're not ADSing, and a single shot deals 100 damage. It's excellent for finishing off enemies that have already been tagged or bagging some eco frags. Head into the range and try out the Marshal no-scope for yourself. It might just surprise you. The last weapon on our list is the Operator. This titan of a weapon costs a hefty 4,700 credits, and for good reason. It's a one-shot body shot at any range, and any enemies walking into its crosshair are particularly guaranteed to die. A good Operator player can absolutely run riot in matches, so it's a great weapon to learn. Our tip for aspiring Operator players is to really hold aggressive angles and make sure you're getting impact. Very often we see Operator players being smoked off because they're holding an angle that's too far back. You should be right up against a barrier, ready to peek aggressively and secure the opening pick every single round when you're using an AWP. When on agents like Jet or Chamber, missing your shot isn't the end of the world, since a dash or TP into safety can give you that get out of jail free card. Not doing anything and getting forced into an unfavorable retake, however, is not exactly where the gun excels, so be active. And that just about wraps up our guide. Let us know what you'd like to see next in the comments below. And as always, remember to like and subscribe for more content just like this.